Now it's time for another edition of I'm Late to the Party. Hey, hey. This is a review that is probably long overdue. You might remember way back in the summer when on Instagram, if you are a longtime follower, then I posted a story that was about the Besame Cosmetics Lucille Ball collection. A lot of you actually persuaded me that I should get it, and as the longest millennial fan of Lucille Ball, I have to say I was smitten, and so I decided to purchase it. This is not a sponsored video. In fact, I am so late to the party on this that the only things as of filming this that are still available for purchase in this collection are the lipsticks. So if you want the lipsticks, then I will link them down in the description. But I think that this is still a worthy video to make because I know that Besame, at least a couple times a year, sometimes even more frequently than that, will make special edition collections like the Lucille Ball one. And so I thought I might do an unbiased review of them. Actually, it's a really biased review. I don't know why I said unbiased. It's totally biased. What's crucial here is that I have never tried any Besame Cosmetics ever, even though I've been obsessed with the idea of them for as long as I can remember, since the products actually became available, I think. Because the concept of Besame Cosmetics is that they use recipes, some of the cosmetics that would have been used in the specific time period in which they are working. Usually it's got a 40s and 50s bent, which in this case, this is a 50s and 60s. But generally speaking, it could come from usually anywhere in the 20th century and occasionally from the 19th century. And the first thing that I want to note is I'm going to show you the bag. And it's cute, right? But it is just like the kind of material that you would get if you were like doing a grocery shop. I'll be 100% honest with you. I was not expecting that. From the photos before I purchased this, I actually expected this to be a full-on cosmetics bag, like with the zip and the whole lot. And it really isn't. It's like a grocery bag. It's just a really cute, very small grocery bag. So that was kind of a little bit of a disappointment. That said, it is still cute enough that for a number of months now, it has been hanging and laying in wait for this video on the side of my bed. And it does, you know, because it's got the I Love Lucy logo on it, it cheers me whenever I see it. So there is that. And then of course on the back, it's got the Besame Cosmetics logo. And then inside are all of the products. Whoever packages their products and whoever does their marketing is just incredible. Like they always get it so spot on. Who wouldn't want one of these babies on their dressing table or in their bathroom when they wake up in the morning? It is just absolutely gorgeous. So in this kit, we've got the Club Babalu palette, which I'm going to get out of the box right now. Here is the palette, the outside of it. And then see, I told you I haven't used it at all. It's still got the plastic on it. Got a little mirror and it's got, of course, the palette itself. Look at that. Isn't that cute? See, I haven't even seen this myself either because it's the first time that I'm ever really getting any of it out of the packaging. But that's the first color. And this is What a Peach. And again, these, the two lipsticks, are still available and they're linked below if you want them. It's called Love That Redhead. It's got a similar little facade image on here with the little rhinestones, which I just think is such a cute touch. And there it is, Love That Redhead. And actually, I just noticed, I don't know if you're able to see it or not, but it even has the Besame logo etched into the side of the lipstick itself. It's so incredibly lush. A face powder compact, a normal peachy translucent powder, which notably came with some plastic on top, which is good. So it kind of kept the integrity. The palette itself is just really gorgeous. And what's really exciting about that palette is that they have inserts that you can put into their palettes that make the palettes reusable, which is really nice. And we've got a lip liner and two eyeliner pencils. So here's the lip liner. They're obviously not gel because, again, this is kind of supposed to be the closest representation of what LaCie may have worn on the daily, either in the 50s or the 60s, depending on which part of the palette you use. And then a white liner too, because she used to use white liner on her eyes in order to accentuate their fullness and make them look bigger. Especially in the 60s, that was a big thing for a lot of people to do. So we've got those 3 pencils. The signature Lucille Ball eyelashes, because, you know, Lucille Ball really, really loved to accentuate her eyes and her lips. Those were her main features. And she would try to match the red tones in her lips to match her hair, but then she would also accentuate her eyelashes because they were one of her favorite parts of her. So she would use sometimes falsies, making them look as long as possible. Along with those eyeliners, there was also a little eyeliner sharpener. If you need an eyeliner pencil while you're, you know, on the train or riding in your car, then this has you covered. And that really is the whole kit. I'm not gonna try and recreate a Lucille Ball look today, just because I think that that would be a lot more work than just showing you how the makeup works on a basic level. So I'm gonna save the eyelashes for another time, but I'm just gonna go through the process of doing my makeup using this kit as I typically would, and then let you be the judge for yourself really as to whether or not this would be something that you would be interested in yourself. Because I have to say, like, while I think that all of this stuff and specifically the packaging is beautiful, for everyday makeup use, this seems like you're buying the packaging. It is just all so gorgeous that I'm interested in noting the quality of the makeup and also its staying power, because I do, of course, like to wear makeup, just as I think most people do, that lasts a lot. And if I can use this powder and it does stick the makeup to my face pretty well, maybe this is what I'm buying from now on. But if not, then it might just be a little too steep of a price point for me in terms of the type of makeup that it is. And I know that specifically in the vintage community, Besame is like queen when it comes to makeup types. So I don't want to be like too disparaging of it, but I just have to say, like, as somebody who, again, as you all know, likes her drugstore brands and likes makeup that's gonna stay without a lot of effort all day, this seems like a lot. First things first, of course, in these special edition kits, it should be noted that it's not gonna come with a concealer, it's not gonna come with a base of any kind. I'm even kind of surprised that it comes with a powder palette, but I guess that in a way that was sort of a Lucille Ball signature thing, so it sort of makes sense for this particular kit, but I suspect that in a regular kit, you wouldn't even really get the powders, because all of that foundation stuff is something that I think Besame just takes for granted you're gonna do you on. So, of course, as usual, my face is already washed. I have already moisturized it, and it's got, you know, everything on it needed to be able to add some makeup to it. So I'm gonna go in with my Kiko Milano that I have been using a ton of and absolutely love. And I have to say, even though I've been using it like every day of Vlogmas, it still has a ton left. And that wasn't even all of it, I just don't want it to break. Y'all know I am not a huge fan of my little double chin, so I'm gonna try and make that into a shadow instead. A little light contouring on my cheekbones and around my eyes. And that'll be it for today. I'm gonna next go in with my Kat Von D, which I absolutely love as well and highly recommend. It unfortunately does have a little bit steeper of a price point for what you get, but I feel like as somebody who wears makeup pretty regularly, it is really, really good to blend everything together. And I love Kat Von D so much because I don't even need concealer. I can just use this base and then I'm good to go, and my blemishes are mostly covered. And the thing is, I am still human, so of course I'm gonna have blemishes, but I don't really care about that as much as having a face that looks about the same and even toned throughout. So I'm just going in, I'm blending, and I'm trying to do less rubbing and more pushing, because that pushing is what's really gonna make the makeup stay in place more. And it also doesn't look like you're just trying to cover your face in makeup. Instead, it just looks like it's your regular face, which is what we're usually going for. Now, this is, of course, the one place and under my chin where I do try to rub it down, because you don't want streakiness when it comes to contour. You just want it to look like it's a natural shadow of your face. All right, I think that'll work. And that means we can get on to the fun stuff, which is the actual palette, right? The application of powder is just a little bit better with a brush because it gives you more full coverage. This is pretty heavy powder comparably with what I'm used to. As many women in the 50s, especially women in the public eye, were very, very big on their powders. It was a huge, huge fad in the 50s to just plaster your face with powder because it makes for a good base palette in order to put all the rest of the makeup on your face, and it keeps your face shine free, which was a big thing in the 50s and even into the 60s. You didn't really want a lot of shine on your face because it implied that you were sweating and you were working too hard, which we all know that the housewife, of course, specifically, has to be working hard, but make it seem flawless all the time. That's why the emphasis on powder, because it was that double standard of work really hard, but don't you dare show it. That said, I'm looking pretty glowy, which I like. It is a little looser than the powder that I'm used to. It seems to be giving the same, at least type of coverage, even if the level is a bit higher. I don't think I've noted in previous videos, but I'm gonna note right now, just for posterity's sake, that I usually put powder everywhere, including my lips. It can be pretty easy for that liquid liner to dry out my lips, but I've found that if I powder them first, then not only does it stay longer and stay better, it also doesn't dry out my lips as much because I think it traps the moisture on my lips. A lot of really cute names here. So we've got McGillicuddy Roots, which is the white, and of course that's where I'm gonna start. I love the size of this mirror too, because it's not too big, but it also is big enough that I can actually see what I'm putting on my face. Whereas, you know, like with the little palettes that you get sometimes, if it does have a mirror, then it's like impossible to see what you're actually applying and you still need the big mirror anyway. But with this palette, you don't need that. So that's kind of nice. And then Band Leader Brown, might use that for a little bit of eyebrow accentuation. Okay, and the other side as well. And generally speaking, I would be using a flatter brush for this exercise, but I figure I'm gonna try their brush first and see what the results are. One thing that I wish that this palette did, that it doesn't, is I wish it was actually something a little more sturdy than just cardboard, because the mirror is really heavy and it just flops. If it was a bit sturdier, I don't think that would happen. Or if it was on hinges or something, but can't have it all, I guess. So now let's go with our lids. And I'm wearing all blue today, may as well continue on with that trend. So we're gonna go with the Salesman Blue on the outside of the lids. Oh, that is a very dark blue, almost a black. I was not expecting that. I mean, it's kind of a navy blue on here, but I figured it would not go on as dark as it has. And that's not a bad thing, that's actually a great thing, because it means there's a lot of pigment in here. You don't need a lot to go a long way, apparently. Same on the other side, whoops. Okay, now I'm gonna use the Babalu, which is my favorite name of the bunch, to go in the inner eyelid with. These are, I think, the more 60s colors because they're quite vibrant. In the 50s, especially a housewife probably would have used more muted colors and more warm tones, and she certainly would have because she always wanted to accentuate those warm tones in her hair. But I, of course, am the kind of gal who likes to be loud with everything that she does. The one thing I will say about this is because this is a very historic looking palette and has a lot of kind of historic colors in it, you don't really have anything that's sparkly and bright and is gonna make your eyes pop. I think that's it for my eyes today. Again, remember, we're not doing anything really extraordinary here. I'm just doing a basic daily look. I do like the ease with which this liner seems to go on despite the fact that it's a crayon, because sometimes those crayons, especially the ones that you have to sharpen like this, can be really harsh on your skin, and this one doesn't seem to be like that, so that's nice. There we go. It looks really weird right now, I know, but just bear with me, I promise it's gonna clean itself up. Given that, you know, there's an emphasis on the eyelashes and you've got 2 different kinds of eye pencil as a result of that, is that there really isn't any mascara that comes with this. And Besame's kind of signature thing is the mascara with the little brush. So it really does surprise me that it didn't include any kind of mascara to be able to blend your eyelashes in with Lucille Ball's big honkin' lashes. Because there is no mascara in this kit, I'm gonna go in with my own, which is of course Falsies. And I'm going to go in with the liner, which I guess we're just supposed to use with either of the colors, so that's that. I shape the lips first. It's a very berry color. And when I used to use liner regularly, would actually fill in my entire lip with liner first. Because I felt like that would, no matter what color I was using on top of it, would just kind of blend the colors a little more naturally. It's been a really long time since I used lip liner. I'm kind of impressed that this went on as well as it did. So there we are, lip liner done. So this is the What a Peach. There, and you can see it is kind of a peachy, but it's still quite red. And so you can see the second one is that little bit darker of a red. It's been probably years since I only used lip liner and a lipstick. So just go easy on me, folks. And I would, under normal circumstances, probably be using a brush for this application, but trying to work with what they've given us just to see what happens. Now, of course, one of the biggest problems with the cream lipstick is that it tends to just rub off on everything. It's about the same as it would be if I had just put on a new coat of the liquid lipstick that I usually use. The difference is the transfer isn't gonna be as fierce throughout the day if you use a liquid lipstick than if you use this stuff. So as long as you're okay with transfer, then cream lipsticks are perfectly valid as a choice. It's just the convenience factor, especially for everyday wear. Liquid lipstick is gonna stay more vibrantly throughout the day. I will certainly have it in my arsenal for whenever I decide to use a lighter color of lipstick again. I haven't used the red one yet, but it is quite vibrant and it reminds me actually of a deep red lipstick that I have that's a liquid lipstick too. And as somebody who, again, likes to blend lots of colors together, then I think it's fabulous to have 2 additional colors of lipstick in my arsenal, because I will sometimes blend the liquid lipstick with a cream lipstick if I'm going for a specific shade of red or of peach. I don't hate it. It is a little bit light comparably with what I usually use, but that's not a problem for me. Hopefully this has given you a little bit of insight as to what Besame's special edition makeups are like. Link in the description if you would like to go and check out the 2 lipsticks, because they are really pretty colors. I like them both a lot, and interestingly, they seem to both work with my skin tone okay, which I was not expecting, because with peach and me, sometimes they just don't mix. I would encourage you to at least go and check them out, and I will see you tomorrow for another Vlogmas video.